Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company podcast. This is the main show. That's where it's the three of us recapping what happened in the last week, what we're going to be doing, and, hey, maybe we went to an event or something.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, number 53, we are really getting up there.
We are.
Guys, by the way, for those just joining us, you may not know who we are. I'm Dane Hennen. This is Levi Gates.
Hello, hello.
And this is Anthony Fisher.
Hello.
I just want to get it in there before they can go,
Oh,
Dane,
yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah, get it in and get it out, am I right?
Yeah.
That's
There we
right.
go.
All right, so let's start with our weekends before we get to the big show.
Okay.
Well, so we actually had a weekend.
Yeah.
Right? That was kind of nice.
It was nice.
doesn't
I
usually
forgot
happen.
what those feel like since
Yeah.
we've been working 24/7
Yeah.
for the past 3 months.
Oh, man.
Paying us in towels. You know, this is just getting really exhausting.
Well, and the
Yeah.
nice thing is we are home
we are.
Right.
Yeah.
until SEMA.
Yeah.
So we think. Until something comes up randomly.
I don't think anything is going to come up.
I
We
hope
got
not.
SEMA.
Knock on
SEMA's
wood.
going to be expensive, and we got to save our
It's
travel
going to
budget
catch up
for
with us.
all
Yeah,
of
it
that.
is. It is.
So-
And it happens quick. Like these next 2 months go by faster than pretty much anything.
When you
Yeah.
look at the calendar and you think, oh, yeah, no, I got some time to do things, whereas the past few months have just been packed with stuff, and you see this break and you just kind of see the clouds parting, and you think, oh, it's going to work out. No, it goes away fast.
I feel like the same way about like April and May are not months to me. They're just a blur.
Yeah.
And then the same way that August and September is a blur. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, it's Halloween.
and
Yeah.
then it's next year all of a sudden, and then
Yeah.
it's
And
time
then
for
I'm older.
MTE.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back in Florida in January.
Here we go. So,
Anyway.
Adam, I just detailed your car. What am I doing back here already?
yeah. So we're home now, but we got to have a weekend. Levi, what did you do?
Right.
Well, I actually cleaned my garage.
The garage.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's still a work in progress.
Sure.
So last weekend, I was able to clean out my storage unit and get it all in the garage.
Ooh.
So then this weekend was getting through the storage unit stuff, just trying to organize
sure.
and throw stuff away and clear it out. And everything that, like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, I don't even know why I kept. Like, we were just moving and I was just trying to get stuff out of there. So did that. I went to Home Depot and bought a workbench, just one of their quick assemble workbenches that are like, I think it was $80.
Okay.
I used to put them in my shop. They're super economical because they're $80. They're wood. You literally slide it out, pull the legs out, put the shelf in, and you're done. And it's
Is there any kind of like backboarding or nothing like that?
Nope, just a bench with a countertop.
Okay.
But I set that up, and I'm probably going to go grab another one. But for now, I do want to finish doing my whole garage, the right way and all that. But I'm just trying to clear.
The only way.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clear stuff out and get through the boxes.
You
and
need to be able to like envision.
I need to like set stuff in a section and go like, okay, all this could go in a cabinet.
Yeah.
I need to move this stuff off
It's
the floor.
The
and into it.
organization before the organization.
Literally, yeah. So that's kind of the reason I did that. And then, but because I was able to clear off a bunch of stuff and put it on a couple shelves, basically, and still have a spot to like work on something or drill or do something, I was able to clear out a space and bring one of my old air compressor, which is an old Craftsman from the 60s. I was able to set that up in a little spot. And then I was able to take my other air compressor, my newer Husky, which is a California Air Tools white label, and was able to set that up. And then I was able to sister those tanks because, I'm trying to come up with a air solution for my garage.
An air compressor solution.
An air compressor solution. Yeah. And this is kind of a version 2.0.
All right.
No, it was, but this was, I have these two tanks.
Because it's two compressors
I have an air
pretended to be one.
Yes, I have this, but the old one is very old. It literally sounds like
Like when you go to the old-timey
what is that?
antique show and they've
and you
got
see
the
the old
like,
engines?
one-piston motor
Yeah.
and it's just...
Yeah, that's what it sounds like when it runs, and it takes forever to gain 50 pounds of air pressure.
Yeah.
And so it's not an efficient. It's great for once it's full, you can like fill up a bike tire.
It's like when they had the
Like-
half horsepower.
Yeah, but it's a cool looking compressor, and so that's
yeah.
why I like it. But my Husky is whisper quiet and fills up very fast and can pull up hold 150 psi and do a bunch of stuff with it. So I just sistered him so I had extra air capacity.
Yeah.
But while I was at Home Depot, I'd looked for a hose reel, and they didn't have any at Federal Way. But it was, so did that. I took the kids to the Home Depot Kids Workshop.
I used to help with those.
Yeah, you said you used to set some of those up. So they'd made bookends.
Yeah.
And so they were very excited because I've missed out the last couple months. Mm-hmm. And that's like their favorite thing. And they've kept their aprons. They keep their pins.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
they've been... So we drove over to do that. They wanted to ride in the red truck. So we rode in the red truck and did that.
It's a new hotness.
Yeah. I put some... my tail lights came in.
Ooh.
So,
Altezas?
Yeah. So... so I needed to put some new taillights in, right?
He's bringing them back.
Yeah. And I let Augie choose.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I said, pick out the taillights you want to put on the truck. And he was like...
pressure's
couldn't
on.
believe it. He was so excited when I showed him what we were going to do and where it would go. Like, I walked him out there and I said, pick out the lights that you think look the coolest and we'll put them on the back. Right here, we'll take these out and we'll put this in there and they'll mail it. When it gets here, you can open the box. And so he was just like, he was
in heaven.
super excited to do this. He was getting something for the truck. So he was like, going through all the taillights, and he was looking, and then he was like, oh, I like this one, and picked it. And I was like, oh, I don't like that one, but okay.
You let a child choose your taillights.
Yes.
This is the price you pay.
But you know what I did was that I found that same style with a black body. He picked the chrome.
I knew he was going to pick something really flashy, like Pep Boys.
He picked the chrome-bodied ones, so I picked a black version.
Yeah.
And ordered those because they're
so what
price.
he's saying is he denied his child.
So I denied.
Choice.
I allowed my child to choose the design, and then I tweaked it.
And then I said no.
Yeah, but he didn't remember because the box showed up, and he was so excited to open the box and pull the taillights out. He was like, He was running around the house holding. I was like,
blinded.
don't drop it.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. But he helped me put him in.
That's cute.
And he was pretty excited about that because it's literally just 2 screws. After you plug the bulbs in. There's 2 screws, and so he just turned the screwdriver.
Old cars are nice like that.
Yeah, so it was fun. So he was pretty excited, and then he had to show his mom every chance he could.
Yeah.
Look at my tail lights.
Was she as enthusiastic about it?
Yeah. Carly didn't care. She was
okay.
She was like, "Hey, good work, bud." Like, she was happy for him to do something, and he was out there with a screwdriver, and so it was good though. So it was a good weekend. Like I said, got the garage cleaned up, got my air going, I've still got tons of stuff in that garage. I've still got an empty shed, on my property that I need to fill. So I'm just trying to organize and get everything over there. But it's been nice, and I'm looking forward to having more weekends at home.
Yeah.
So what'd you guys do?
So I guess under the topic of air and compressors and
that's what got me started. I was ruminating on it all week because of a certain post.
So I think it was about a week ago, right?
Yeah,
and so I wanted to talk about it last week, but we had so much other things to talk about. So last week I finally put together my own compressor, solution at my house. And so for like the last 28 years of my life, I've been filling up my tires at my parents' house. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of ridiculous. I really should just get my own like air compressor, anything, right? So initially, I was just going to go with something cheap, something just really cheap. I'm talking literally just to fill tires. And then I thought more realistically about it, and I thought, okay, well, I'm doing details in my house every once in a while. I would like something that's going to have enough power to spray out pads, something that's going to have enough power to blow out interiors and things like that.
Especially between the center console and the seat rails. It's awesome to be able to just blow that all out.
Just something that I can use in other areas. And so, but then it was like, to what extent do I need to, do I go balls out and buy the nicest thing possible, or do I try to find something in that affordable range? And so I did. Honestly, I did about like 2 weeks worth of research. I mean, I sat on my computer, I sat on my phone, and I was just researching reviews and things like that. And I guess the hard part is with compressors, they're super hit or miss. And with reviews that you'll see online, you'll see some people love them, you'll see some people hate them, all for just different variables of sound, the longevity, how long the motor lasts, right? Whether it's oilless or has oil in it. There's a lot of different variables there. So, everybody was just giving me these mixed reviews, and so I finally stumbled on one that was extremely affordable and had nothing but good reviews. It had maybe one bad review, and that was the Rigid 6-gallon. It's a pancake compressor, but it's like it's a larger
it's like Home
style.
Depot's in-house brand.
So, but Rigid makes
Rigid's got a great warranty,
awesome products, and their warranty, and that's what sold me on it. So initially, I was comparing it between there was a Cobalt compressor that looked cool. I liked the look of it at Lowe's, but the reviews were kind of hit or miss, and it only had a 1-year warranty, and I was like, that's not that great. Whereas this Rigid had a 3-year warranty, which was 2 years longer than any other compressor I saw, currently within those stores. And so this particular Rigid compressor had, it's 150 PSI, 1.5 horsepower, 6-gallon, 2.8 CFM at 90 PSI, and 2.6 CFM at 100 PSI or something like that. So it had really good, had two quick disconnect ports, so you can run 2 hoses at the same time. But looks wise, it looks all right. It's just orange and gray. It didn't really go with anything in my garage, but I was like, whatever, right? So I decided on that compressor, and after picking up that compressor, I went over to go get my hose, and I'm thinking, okay, I only need a 25-foot hose, maybe a 50-foot hose tops, right, for my garage. And I stand there and I'm looking, and I go to reach for the 50-footer, and the guy at Home Depot walks up and he's like, hey, wait. Before you pick that up, right, let me just give you my advice. Go with the 100-footer. And I look at him, I'm like, I don't know, man, 100 feet's a lot. And he was like, trust me, I've bought 50-footers, and I've had to come back and buy another 50 feet because I didn't make the right choice and buy the 100-footer. So I'm like, you know what? This guy probably knows a little bit more about compressors than I do.
And he's not on commission, so you can pretty much trust his word.
So I was like, all right, whatever. So I pick up 100 foot of this hose. I go back home. I use my compressor for the first time, just absolutely jazzed on it, right? I'm like, this is awesome. And then I'm like, all right, now I need to wrap up this hose. So, dude, you guys should see me. This was so
100 feet of hose.
Dude, I'm like sitting here. So I'm trying to wind it up on my arm, and that's not working. After about 25 feet of my arm, it just got way too much. And I'm like, well, I still have 75 feet more to go. So at that point, I'm sitting there literally just looking. How do I wrap this up?
Yeah.
What do I do? And so I grabbed my trash can. I put it in the middle of my garage, grabbed a part of the hose, and just started walking around my trash can to coil this thing up. I must have done like 20 laps around that thing, right, to be able to wind this hose up. And finally, by the time I got it, it still didn't look great, right? I was still like, I got to do something about this. So anyways, I went back to the store, ended up finding a nice reel, like a nice reel that holds 100 foot of hose. That actually
Those are the same ones I had in my shop.
And they connect into the reel, which is really nice. So it has its own swiveling little access port on there.
Nice.
So picked up that. I picked up another set of accessories, as far as like I had like a blower gun and all those different things for the air compressor. So I went home. I put quick disconnects on everything. I just thought that would make things a lot easier, and so I did that. And then there's an inline filter that you can get that just connects right to the actual compressor itself, which I think gets rid of dirt and debris that are less than 5 microns or something like that, right? And that was like $12. So all in all, my complete air compressor solution package. Do you guys want me to give you the real price or the fake price?
I think everybody would love to hear both.
Okay, so you can buy it on the All Day Anthony store for $698, right?
Okay.
And I'll include free shipping on that. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
So I actually ended up getting this.
And actually, if you guys want, you can email Anthony and I, and we will send you our product videos that we wrote, that we made. So Anthony sent us a video.
We were passing them around this weekend.
Yeah. And then after I finished mine, then I made a video with mine and how it works. So if you want, email us, either Levi or Anthony at the Rag Company. Not Levi or Anthony, but Levi at the Rag Company or Anthony at the Rag Company. And we would love to share our product videos with you guys if you want to see some. It's a little bonus footage, you can check it out. It's pretty awesome though. We were having a good time laughing between the three of us.
So the actual price is not $698. So I think I put everything together. So the compressor itself was $129. 100 feet of hose was $33. The actual bracket or the hose reel itself that attaches to your wall was $19. All of the accessories and quick disconnects were $20. and the filter was $10. So it was right around that $200
Yeah, no, you got
mark.
yourself a good little setup.
And so $200, I have enough power to blow out pads, blow out interiors. I mean, literally, guys, 150 PSI out of a blowgun, it's enough to blow out your garage. I mean, you can sit
clean
there
your
and
garage with it.
clean your garage and clean everything. And I now have 100 feet of hose to where I can actually take it into my house, which is
you can go
from my garage.
upstairs.
I can literally go up my stairs, which is awesome because I was joking around with
Hey, honey.
with Katie about this, that when you have a dog, you have all this animal hair that collects into the cracks of your stairs, right, and the little crevices. So now I can just go out there and blow those out into my shop vac and be done with it, which is nice. But so that was one thing I put together, which I was pretty pumped on. If you guys are interested in that, definitely try go that route if you need a compressor. I mean, it's awesome. But I did that this weekend, and then I also went to the Chris Stapleton concert on Saturday night.
I have no idea who that is.
See, I didn't either.
Neither do I,
didn't
but
either.
apparently country fans
I don't listen to country music,
so
so I didn't know who he was.
Some of our listeners are no doubt country fans, so they'll know.
But so I went, right, thinking, I'm not going to really like this because I'm not really huge on country music. But, dude, I went. That was a good concert. Yeah. Like, he is really good. I don't know any of his songs in person, but all I know is, like, it sounded good. The drums sounded awesome. They mic'd up everything super well. It was a great concert, and dude can shred on guitar, man. He can play guitar. So every time he started shredding on the guitar, I'm like, all right, you have my interest, right? This is pretty sweet. But there was people in front of us and behind us that told my fiance and then my other friend's girlfriend that they need to shut the F up because we were being too loud. And it was, dude. I was. I mean,
You're at a concert.
I'm not saying I'm about to fight somebody. I'm not. I don't handle conflict like that. But I didn't overhear it. But all I know is that they said, hey, these guys said that to us. I'm like, are you serious, dude? It was so loud in there. I couldn't even hear my own friend that I'm yelling at. The fact that these people complaining that we could
hear.
So
why are you guys the problem?
Dude, I don't know. But all I know, I was kind of livid about that because I was like, we're at a country rock concert. This isn't something I would never go up to somebody and say, hey, you're being too loud at this concert.
This isn't a classical concerto in the Morrison Center.
That's what I was thinking. Like, they have like their little...
They're all shushing you and you can't hear them.
What they do back in the day, they have like little cone thing that they put in their ear to hear the music. I'm like, what is this? So that happened. I wasn't too happy about that. I let it go, though. It wasn't worth...
the Idaho Center?
Wasn't worth spilling my beer
Bell?
over. Idaho Center is what it was,
And somebody told me, that is so weird.
Dude,
funny.
it was weird. We were all like really just not happy about that. But anyway, so after that, though, Sunday, I cleaned up one of my motorcycles. Went out for just a little ride around the town. I went and checked out the autocross event that they were having yesterday morning at the fairgrounds.
Those are always fun.
And so I love watching autocross. I think it's a lot of fun. I like seeing the particular cars out there. They had a couple turbo Miatas out there, a couple turbo Civics, which kind of inspired me.
Yeah.
I got on the forums and was reading up on how to autocross the pickup.
Yeah, you could.
So they're actually a popular platform if you do it right.
Yep.
Yeah, there was those. They had there's a lot of Corvettes out there, which was pretty cool.
There's a couple of guys who have some really weird cars too. Who's that guy who drives the crazy stealth car that literally looks like an F-117 with the wings cut off? You've never seen that thing? No joke. In town here, I've got video of it from a long time ago on my Facebook page. But there's this guy who basically looks like a F-117 Nighthawk, the stealth fighter jet, but it's on wheels, and it's like the wings are cut off. It has this crazy pointy, flat black. It's weird. It's really weird. But he autocrosses it. And then there's some other guys with like the little sprint car racer. Yeah. And then like there's like a Triumph or an AMG, or not AMG, MG, little British roadster that's done up like a freaking race car. I mean, really, really kicking it out. There was some cool stuff.
There was a Focus RS there. Those cars rip on the autocross course. I was watching and I'm like, man, I want one. And it's funny because like I had friends there watching and they're like looking at me like in awe, just looking at it. And they're like, Anthony, you have a car that does this really well, right?
Never.
Yeah, but it gets dirty.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's what I look at. I'm like, I don't want to hit a cone though. I'm like, do you know how hard cone marks are to get out of paint? Like, you really have to scrub those off. And so I'm like, man,
the whole lower half of your car.
I'm like, what a baby. And but then I went out and rode out to they have this road out on Gowan Road where they actually have a military base out there where our airfield, or I guess, is out there. So I went out on a ride out there, and I found that they had made a road that connects from Gowan Road to this place called Lake Hazel Road is what it is, right? And they made this connecting road with this nice big swoop and these nice rolling hills, and I'm talking fresh road. And there's nothing more satisfying about a newly paved road that nobody knows about.
It's probably like big sweepers.
Oh, yeah. Huge. One big sweeper, then some rolling hills after that. But what I ended up finding out is that they're building a community out there, like its own standalone community that my fiance's home building company is actually building.
So what I'm hearing is now's the time to enjoy it because it's going to suck later.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, but apparently they're building...
Or you guys sell your house and move out there.
Well, they're building 2,000 houses, right?
Holy crap.
2,000 houses in this community, which will be very similar to like a Columbia Village that we have here in Boise, which is like its own... I don't really know how to describe it.
It'll have a nice view of the prison.
Well,
I was going to say, traditionally, most people don't move to that side of the freeway unless they want to be the furthest outside of town while still being close to town.
I was thinking maybe people that are just in the military that don't want to have to drive far from
work. And that
work,
makes sense.
Possibly. But then there's also an airfield right there, so those houses, it's going to be a little noisy, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there are houses out there, and it's a nice area. A lot of people go out there to go shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's big. It's open.
There's lots of canyons and
people like it because it's not super populated right now.
But...
Yeah. So it is what it is.
Buy a house out there. Good luck, folks. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Going to be
don't move
great,
here.
Great place to live.
Stop moving to Boise. It's not
it's
great.
all blowing up.
Nobody likes it here. So, but no, it was nice to go around the town and check things out. Nice motorcycle ride on a Sunday morning. I enjoyed that.
Nice.
And then the rest of the day, I just kind of just chilled, cleaned the bikes up, hung out. Just pretty boring Sunday, but I was happy with that. So Dane. You did some stuff.
I did some stuff. So
he had his hands dirty. He went too deep. He went 2 fists deep.
I was up to my elbows in grease
and oil. It was up to his elbows. 2 arms inside.
Oh my god,
man!
He laced his fingers together.
Yeah, what?
I look like one of those guys who have been doing the metal polishing at Air Force One, just covered. No, context, people.
Yeah.
All right. So I had to do a little mechanic work, and I'm no mechanic, but that's why I bought my Miata, was to teach myself how to work on cars, as I've mentioned before. And it's been an excellent tool for that. Unfortunately, for those who follow me on Instagram, they noticed a few weeks ago, before we went on all of our recent your batch of trips, my accessory belt snapped that controls the water pump and stuff. So I could still drive the car, but it would overheat in a matter of like a minute or two. Because obviously you don't want to fry
great
things,
for those 1-minute trips.
So I had to AAA it back home, and it's been sitting in the garage. I've been driving the Volvo mostly, and it's been sitting there, and I felt bad every time I look at it. I'm like, I gotta do that. I gotta put new belts on it, and it's just one of those things. Like it's not a small fix, but for someone who knows what they're doing, it's a relatively quick thing. But it's a time-consuming process to get the belts, make sure you understand putting it on correctly, the tensioners, have all your tools handy. Somebody who's handy with this stuff can knock it out quickly. Anyway, I put it off for a while because we've been doing so many trips. But as the weekend turned around, I realized I was like, okay, today I want to do some cleaning of the cars. And I took the Volvo out, and all of a sudden check engine light comes on. I'm like, oh, great. And it's a cylinder 5 misfire again. So I already replaced the spark plugs like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, because I had a cylinder 5 misfire then, and I noticed it was gapped improperly. I fixed that stuff, as I mentioned on the podcast. Well, this time I'm like, what else is there? Oh, ignition coil plug. So I went in and basically dug back in there, and I replaced the number 5 ignition coil plug, basically in those giant plunger plugs that go in above the spark plug. And I had no idea how expensive those were for the Volvo, because I went in to take a look, and it's like $60-$70 just for one.
And you have 5 of those.
Yeah, I got 5 of those. So I'm like, well, it's a cylinder 5 misfire, so I'm going to get one.
Yeah. And you got this from rockauto.com?
I should have. I really should have, but I was impatient. I was like, there's an AutoZone up the street, and I got a rewards
Get
card.
in the zone.
AutoZone. So I ran up there, and I was like, it's a crapshoot as to whether they have it or not. But they did. And, of course, they had their Duralast, cheapo version. But, I wanted to basically make sure it worked. But then I saw that there was a Bosch version, which is what all my other ones are. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe I'll swing it for the Bosch because it's already expensive. It's just a difference like $10 more to get the more expensive, but, name brand, if you care about that stuff. Guy didn't have it. So I got the Duralast and went home, and I was like, well, okay, because I had kind of a rough idle at times. Yeah. It ran really well, and I've been driving it to work just fine, but it started to finally get bad enough that the light came on. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I have a little reader now to check it. But at any rate, replace that. Thing purrs like a kitten now. It's nice.
Good.
Super smooth.
And you put the belts on the Miata.
And that's what did it. And then I dug into the Miata. So I once I got that done, I moved over and like, okay, Miata, your turn now. So then I had to get in there, and there's, Miatas, for people who like NA Miatas, they're leaky little SOBs. So even the best taken care of ones, they're still going to find a way to leak a little bit here and there. Mine, of course, was a $1,200 car when I bought it, so it's got its fair share of little seeps in the block. But at the same time, it's a good running car, and I just make sure I do regular oil changes on it. Everything's great. Unfortunately, it's very, very dirty down in the engine bay. So I got in there, and that's how I got right up to my elbows in
so is that,
grease and
can you do
oil.
that one more time?
Fixing the
oh,
right
God.
Just got it. And,
no.
Anyway,
I didn't know that's what all was enthused in taking changing a belt.
Every once in a while, your fist gets stuck in a pulley, and you just got. Any rate. That's graphic enough for one day. But anyway, got that taken care of. Got the belts on there. What I did was I left the belts on the hood of my C-Max out in the driveway in the hot sun so that they could loosen up a little bit.
They melted to the hood.
Luckily, it's a silver car. Thank God nothing happened. I know some people are cringing, but whatever.
Yeah. Did you get some high quality Gates belts?
I did actually. Got Gates belts for it because I know. Gates. So we got that taken care of. And what I did was...
My family has no connection to the Gates Rubber Company, just so everyone knows.
He just likes it because it sounds familiar. Yeah. But I decided I was going to replace both the accessory belts, the power steering, and the water pump one, just because
might as well.
I'm in there. I don't want... And they're cheap. They're like $15 for one belt, $7 for the other. So fine.
It's worth doing.
So I got those, replaced them, done and done. Car ran great. And I was like, okay, this is what I was missing. Because every time I get in the Miata again for the first time in a while, I'm always... so stoked because I know people make fun of them all day long, but there's nothing like driving one of those.
Yeah, it's a fun car to drive,
except for a go-kart. I mean, really, it has barely 100 horsepower, but man, the whole thing is so fun.
Yeah, I've always loved driving those.
Really enjoyed it. I'm telling you, Anthony, one of these days, just find a cheap, like $800 one. Just fix it up.
Pick up something like that, or pick up a little truck. You should go drive my little truck.
Everybody wants me to get these cars, and where am I going to put them? I don't know where.
Well, see, this is the other thing that happened this weekend because of our, hanging out at RUPES with the Obsessed Garage folks.
Yeah, that's where. In case you're wondering, that's where we were.
Yeah, and I'll get
Thursday
to that
and Friday.
in a minute. But what had my head going before I found out that my cars decided not to run this weekend was I was kind of looking out at the garage and I was like, man, what if? And I'm just looking at it, imagining like knocking down that section of my house because I got a big part of my property that just goes back behind it where there used to be like a swimming pool the previous owner had. And then I have like a fire pit and stuff there, but I just don't use it that much. And what I think I would use is a really big garage. So there's a part of me that just thinks, man, if I just destroyed my garage and had it rebuilt twice as long as it is and then add a second story, I'd have like maybe a loft above it or something, like an actual living quarters kind of area, and I could rent it out to somebody or something. That'd be kind of fun. But having a much bigger garage with like high ceilings and stuff would really make the whole house feel more spacious.
Well,
it's not a big house.
What you do is contact,
I love my house and I don't
contact
a
handyman, find out what it's going to cost to build something like that.
Yeah.
Your dad knows probably many handymen that can come and do that. And then you go take out a home equity loan
and
on
that's
your house.
The thing. I have tons of equity in my house.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm kind of like,
don't do a line of credit. Do a home equity loan. And then that way you can get in a set amount.
Yeah.
And that can go towards it.
By the way, guys, we are not giving financial or legal advice. This is purely,
the reason, like, my brother-in-law got a home equity line of credit, and he liked it because he had a line of credit.
And I was to say, that crossed my mind.
I just took a loan out and got the loan, and then I did things like put some windows in my house, paid off some credit cards, did some things like that. And then the loan just goes and becomes a second mortgage. So it's just an extra payment. It was like $150 I had to pay. a month, and it was easy. But
I suspect my solution would be a little more expensive.
But if you look at it and you go, wow, I can get this big garage built.
Value it would add to the house.
Oh yeah, I can get this big garage built. It'll add an extra, say $100,000 worth of property value, or $50,000, and it costs you 25 or 30 to do, or 15,000.
And where I'm located out in Meridian right now, things are blowing up out there.
Yeah.
So I'd rather
it's only
going to
go up
sooner rather than later, because that added value will just be that much more so later on.
Yeah.
So I mean, Anthony, you live out that way too. So it's the area that's happening right now.
It is. It's popping.
I can't afford to live where you live.
The house across the street from me just went up.
Yeah.
For sale. It's smaller than mine, with a 2-car garage. So it's 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, but it's only 1,700 square feet. But it's on a half an acre. And it's literally like 4 houses down from me. They want $420,000 for it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I know some people like living in California, so like, what? That's a steal.
Idaho prices. That's money.
That's getting up there for us. But then again, this whole market is just
it's crazy, right? So like, I look at that and go like, oh, what's like our property's smaller, but our house is bigger.
Part of me is always nervous because I'm like, it's a bubble. It's gonna cool down.
No,
but then
it's
part of it is just because of the area we live and because of all the people coming in. Even if the market as a whole does cool down, our particular area will continue at some rate to grow, just because that's what Boise and the surrounding areas are now.
And all these houses and home sales are pure cash.
Yeah,
they're not bank loans. No. They're pure cash. So people are buying these houses with 100% equity.
And people are calling us randomly like, hey, you want to sell your house? Like my real estate agent was calling and like, hey, so just, maybe you want to, it always comes up, or someone but it's always something. Anyway,
it's
way
wild.
off topic, but I know the garage guys
a garage
would
be pretty dope, yeah.
Because I feel like that would be what I'd make the most of, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like I need a big living space. I just want the living space that feels the right size for 2 people, me and my girlfriend. And we've got
possibly
really
a
nice
little Dane
setup
on the way.
Yeah.
So, Dane, what you
but a garage,
in my opinion. So you keep your current garage, right? You bust off that back wall, right? Which is great because your AC unit and your heater is on your right side of your house wall.
Yeah.
So that back wall has nothing on there, right?
Yeah.
Bust that out. Build up like a 2-story, like how you're saying, right?
Yeah.
But what would be kind of sick is if you had enough room to install down the road, right? Not immediately, some type of small lift, right?
Yeah, I mean, even if you went straight back.
Listen, some type of small lift, but then you keep going, and then you build out a 2nd-story loft, or you put a ladder up there to where it's like you can go up and like.
Yeah.
Throw a bed, throw a desk, throw something up.
I was thinking of making like a self-contained room with like a kitchenette and stuff.
Well, you could do that. Well, you could do
part of my brain is just going.
But you could keep your 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Blow out that back wall, build it out so that it's technically another 2-car garage. So now you have yourself a 4-car garage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It just keeps going, but then the back half is more elevated, so you could pull your cars in, put them on, do a lift, put one up on the lift, or if say you did a 4-poster where you could park one underneath.
I know that
sounds incredibly expensive for me.
I'm just saying. Let's say you live in that house for the next 20 years.
See, that's the thing. I might.
Right.
I really like it there.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm fine.
So you make it yours, and you do all this stuff, and then maybe that 4th bay, you could do whatever you want. You kind of build up some workbenches. You do whatever you like. The first 2 bays are literally just parking, or maybe you build a storage room and you use some of that for garage storage.
Yeah.
And then, like Anthony says, on that roof, you build a full apartment that's maybe another 500 or 600 square feet.
That's what I was thinking, like a mother-in-law
on the top of that
style thing.
Yeah, you build a room, kitchenette, maybe a bathroom up there.
Mother-in-law, Liz's mom will move in.
Yeah,
to that.
Just pay your rent, and you're good.
Yeah,
you know. And then you've got a 4-car garage, basically, or 3-car with a workspace.
Yeah.
And then you've got rental income coming from the top.
Yep.
That basically could, at the rate rent prices are going, could pay your mortgage.
And they'd be stoked because they could park in the garage.
You could, if you want to give them a space. You could also tell them not
I'm
to.
making an extra charge option, but yeah.
But so I'm just saying, like you would, So there's a lot of different things you could do that could work out really well.
Oh.
So
the thoughts are swirling in my mind. So on that note, let's get to the Obsessed Garage guys. And
so
what we did
woke up
with our
very.
end
Let's,
of the week
let's
last
start
week.
this up. So Thursday morning, we woke up very, very early.
Oh, sorry. Before we start that, I noticed we're at the 34-minute mark.
Okay, let's talk to this before we do this.
We talked a little bit about maybe introducing a new, I don't want to say segment. It'll be brief. It's like a minute or two.
Kind of like an ad.
Little thing.
Kind of like an ad. It is
but
an
it's not an
ad.
ad because we don't have advertisers.
Yeah.
We are the advertiser.
We are the advertiser.
So we figured people are always asking about our towels, and we have so many towels. What do you talk about? So I'll let Levi take it up because this is his idea, actually. So
we're going to do a read through.
Yeah, well,
kind
a
of
read,
deal.
except we have nothing to read.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk.
Anthony, do you need to go to the bathroom or
Yeah.
drink some water at this
All right.
point?
Yeah.
So this
Okay.
is where we cut it.
So we're
and
going to
we'll
cut
be
it right
back.
here. The Eagle 500 is a 16 by 16 500 GSM circular knit weave towel. It is our flagship towel, the towel that made us popular. It comes in 4 colors: red, orange, blue, and ice gray. And it comes in a 16 by 24 size in both blue and ice gray. The towel lends itself to all types of uses, whether it's for interior dusting, polish compound removal, wax removal, detail sprays, spray sealants. It works well for rinseless and waterless washing, as well as drying aids. Go to theragcompany.com to pick up the Eagle 500. And we're back. So we woke up very early, getting back into our Obsessed Garage talk.
Right.
Yeah.
We got up early Thursday
what time?
morning.
It was like 4? I know. Oh, wait. No.
What time did
I
you
woke
guys...
up at
Hold on,
5.
hold on.
Yeah.
What time did you guys wake up?
Okay, I woke up because I woke up every hour because it was like that. Oh crap! I think I'm gonna wake up
Yeah.
late. So I kept waking up every hour to check my
Yeah.
phone, and I think it was finally at 4 a.m. I was like, "F it, dude! I'm just getting up. Like this is
Yeah.
my day is starting now."
What time did you wake up, Dane?
I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Felt it.
And you picked up Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
I picked him up
headed to
around
the air-
5.
And
quarter after
what
5.
time did we say we were going to meet at the airport? Do you remember?
5:15.
We were going to meet there at 5.
Wow, we
It
said
was-
2 different things. Shows
You guys
one
were
of
gonna-
us is wrong.
Yeah. You were going to meet me at 5:30.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so I set my alarm and had a good evening, the night before,
Yeah.
and set my alarm, went to bed, appropriate time. And I woke up at 5:10.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was scrambling, and I open up my phone. First thing I do when I saw the time, I'm like, no. And I'm literally like, I'm just going to have to drive my car to the airport and park it there. So I pull up my phone, and I go to my Lyft app, and I haven't used the Lyft app since I got my new phone. So I have to re-log in.
Yeah.
It says
What's
it
my
doesn't,
password? What's
doesn't
my
recognize
password?
my info, all that stuff. I'm like,
Oh, no.
I'm
is
waiting
not
for
the
an email. I'm
time,
like,
yeah.
This is
I'm-
how it happens.
Yeah, I'm
always.
literally like, I'm just going to drive my car. Like, my car is just going to go to the airport and sit in the parking lot. This is this is
You
ridiculous.
take Carly with you. She rides in the passenger seat asleep, and you're like, you're going to drive after I...
Where are my children, Dane?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So
This is the thoughts of someone who doesn't have kids.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna have to drive the car. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm only gonna be gone for 24 hours. Like, it'll be or 36. Like, it won't be bad. I'm stressed out. I pull up my phone as I'm brushing my teeth and like finishing my hair and getting my pants on, and it says 6 minutes away. I'm like, okay, this could work.
Yeah.
So I literally hit the call, like the send button. The car's on its way. I grab my bag. I'm grabbing my stuff, making sure all my toiletries and stuff are in my bag. I'm zipping it up. I'm putting on my shoes, kiss my wife goodbye. And Carly's like, do you need anything? Like, you're late. Like, you are late. And I was like, it's saying a 5:30 a.m. arrival. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm booking on that the dude will drop me off at 5:30.
Bear in mind, this is 5:30 at the Boise airport, and we normally, any other airport, you would plan this out in advance. The flight was boarding at 5:45.
Yeah. And Boise's a small airport, so it's not hard for us to, and I'm not that far away from it.
No.
So that was 7 minutes
Yeah.
to the airport. So not bad. And he was just dropping me off. And so, but yeah, you're right. Like, we were cutting it close.
Yeah.
And so you guys call me.
Yeah.
And you're like, where are you? Because it's
Yeah.
5:30 and you're not here yet. And I'm like, I am literally pulling in. I'll see you in a second. 1 minute away, and I get there, and we are still waiting for your dad.
Yep.
Your dad's not there.
Yep.
So we call you called your mom.
Yep.
And she sounded very stressed and just said, "We will be there."
Okay.
We're like, "All right." So we're waiting for Jeff. Jeff shows up 5 minutes or so later. Not too bad. So now it's 5:35, 5:36.
Mm-hmm.
He checks his bag. We go into the unit, and thankfully we all had pre-check, which is nice. And Larisha from one of the Wash Wednesdays was working. She's one of the TSA agents.
She is, yeah.
So she was working. She was like, "Hey, guys," and let us all kind of cruise through, which was very nice. According to TSA standards, none of us got stopped.
Yeah, no special.
It wasn't like
through.
just go through. Like she was just like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?"
Still had to walk through the detector.
Yeah, we still had to go through everything. We still had to run the bags through, but it wasn't the normal.
It was a more pleasant.
Excuse me,
experience.
sir. What do you have to do? Like she was just like, "Where are you guys going? What's happening? Oh my gosh!" So that was good, and that we were lucky with the last time when we went to the East Coast.
Yeah,
we had another guy who had come to the rag, who was a customer of the rag company as well.
Yeah,
there, and so it was good. So. Thankful to those folks that made that trip easy. But then we got on the plane.
Thanks, guys.
And we headed to Salt Lake. You guys got to ride Delta Business Class, Comfort Plus.
We did.
Comfort Plus.
And that was a great flight because we were extremely surprised to find that not only was the plane like newer and nice, but I mean, it also had the screens, the TV screens on the back of the headrest.
I think it was an Airbus A320.
It was a nice plane.
A320, I think.
It was nice. And those, I would say that Delta, whatever they use for their screens, their app, or whatever software that is, not only did it have good movies, had cool games. Like we could play games.
And you could play like with
seats.
seatmates. So like somebody sitting 4 aisles back could play against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I wanted to say I want to play tic-tac-toe against this person, I can. Which I'm like, that's the way to fly right there.
Yeah.
I mean, having that, and then also brand new movies that weren't even out yet on DVD.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
It could have been worse.
It was a good plane, good flight, and then we landed in Salt Lake, not Seattle. Landed in Salt Lake, and we had like a 40-minute layover there.
Yeah.
And so by the time we got to the next gate, and because we had to walk quite a ways, and then got there, we basically hopped on that next flight.
It all happened.
It was
pretty
easy.
quick.
Yeah. Landed in Denver, and once we landed in Denver, we headed down, got our bags, and 2 for 2 at the Denver airport. They tell you it's at this
particular
baggage
pickup,
claim, and everybody's standing there, and then all of a sudden we noticed some people on our flight walking off with their bags, and we're like, what the heck?
They weren't over here.
Yeah.
They were at that other one.
They were on the other one. So we walk over there and grab it, and the bag was on that one. And, we're all standing there.
Sure enough.
So we headed out, got on the train or on the bus to go get our rental car, which those of you that have frequented the Denver airport, it's quite a trek.
Yeah.
Between the rental cars and the airport. And so
it really is, yeah.
So we got on the bus. Jeff, we had a plan. Jeff was going to jump off lightning fast so that he could get in line quickly.
So fast he left his bag behind.
So fast he left both his bags behind. We forgot that he had 2 bags.
Yeah.
That would have been the end of the trip.
We literally got off the bus, and then a guy's like, "There's still a bag here," and we're like, "Well, it's probably not ours." And then Dane's like, "Maybe I should go check just to make sure." Sure enough, it was your dad's. It was your dad's main carry-on. Like had all his clothes in it.
It's the one that had all the towels in it, right?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I had the towel bag because that was when we checked.
It was Jeff's clothes.
It was all Jeff's clothes and stuff.
That's
so we could have just left that on the bus. So Providence was with us, and we were able to get the bag. And then we literally hopped in our rental car and drove out to RUPES and made it to RUPES facility at about 11:30 or so.
Yeah. And in fairness, the guys had already been going for like an
since
hour
9
or 2
a.m.
at that
Yeah,
point.
we missed out on the tour
of
RUPES and the 4 systems, but
we've already done that.
We've already been there for that.
You can watch the video.
Yeah, so we did that, and then but the whole day was awesome. It was a lot of classroom. First day was classroom with Jason.
Yep.
And then there was some hands-on.
Yeah.
Right after lunch, we had hands-on.
Yep, we did.
With the tools, so everybody got to play with stuff and do some things. And then that night, Anthony, you can tell us.
Yeah. So, well, basically, I mean, what it was is throughout the day. I mean, so we had in-class training, went to hands-on, we got pizza, then it went back to in-class training, and then it went back to being hands-on.
Yeah.
And the hands-on, I mean, it was in terms of tools, people were
everything.
People were using everything, but I think most people were using the Melee, the LHR 15 Mark II. A lot of people using the 75, and then there was a couple hybrids out there, a little nanos.
Some of the air tools.
And some of the air tools were out there. So they had some of the OG guys had a couple rental cars that everybody was kind of playing and practicing on. Don't tell the rental companies that, but they were using those. And then there was also some test hood and some test panels out there. And so it was cool being able to see everybody try certain tools out for the first time, along with the RUPES paint polishing system with their own pads, and then the RUPES compounds and polishes. So everybody got to kind of get their hands on with that. Then it was the end of the day. Basically, we were going to start wrapping things up.
Well, dinner was originally scheduled for 6:30.
Yeah,
and the plan was we were done hard out at 4. We were going to set up tables and chairs because they were dropped off at 4:30.
Yep.
So we were going to try and finish the lessons by 4, so we could start picking up and setting up tables for dinner. Try and get that done by 4:30, and then everybody was going to head back to the hotel to regroup.
Yeah.
And come back and be at RUPES by 6:30 for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
That did not happen. So I think it was like 4:30, and a truck shows up, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I got the food." And this guy from this local
Wayne's?
barbecue place, called Wayne's, really good barbecue.
Just some place, you know, Wayne's.
The majesty of barbecue.
The place where I
Anthony.
had a $60 plate apparently, and I didn't realize it.
I realized it.
I remember.
So yeah. So anyways, we helped everybody set up tables and chairs, and then we pretty much set up the barbecue, and it was kind of like it was so impromptu. We were like, well, for the people that already left, they're coming back to grab food, but for the people that are here, jump in, dive in, and start eating. So
they started calling their wives and girls, like, just come on over. We're eating.
Everybody's
they were all planning on
food.
6:30. But it went off good.
Yeah, we had a good dinner. Everybody got to sit down. I got to talk with a bunch of people. I mean, I sat down with Troy and Mike Figuera, and we talked about different things. I sat down with you for a little bit. You were sitting down with Vinny.
Yeah, it had a lot of great talks, and it was just really cool getting a chance to get face to face with a lot of these guys who you see their comments online and stuff a lot in the groups and stuff, but being able to hear their stories and like where they're coming from and how they ended up in that room that day, that was really cool to hear.
And that was I think that's my favorite part about doing these things is we just get to. It's kind of like just making friends,
and it brings in all walks of life.
Yeah. And you find out that you have a lot of things in common with someone, or you don't, or but you have the same interests. Yeah, it's just kind of fun to like get to know all these guys. And I'm sorry to the fact that we couldn't get in with everybody, but I think everybody had a really great time hanging out, especially that night with dinner. And then that night they were already making plans like, let's go back to the hotel, then let's all meet up and do this. But we headed over back to the hotel, checked in,
and that was our first time going.
That was
to
our
the
first
hotel
time back at the
trip.
and your dad got to see the Omni in all its glory.
So nice. I love that hotel.
Love that.
I don't
It's
know.
such a welcoming hotel.
It is.
Really
I don't know
like
what.
that
There's
place.
something about it where I'm like, I like this place. I can hang out here for a year.
Something about it.
It's great. And so our room was massive because we realized that it was on the front of the building, which we hadn't stayed on the front yet. And it used to have the deck. So above us had a very large deck, and our room had the same footprint as having a deck, but with no deck. So it just had like this extra section of activity area.
Oh, yeah, you could
activity space.
Yeah, so much room.
Yeah, and then we met Dylan and at Gordon Biersch.
Yeah.
Right, I'd never heard of that place, but you guys apparently knew it.
Yeah. So we went there and just hung out, chatted. Excuse me.
Oh man, must be tired. Yeah, and so basically, what Levi's trying to
Troy
say is that
and
Troy and Mike stopped by, and then there was a couple other OG guys that stopped by as well, and we all pretty much just sat down. I know Dylan and you guys were talking about a lot about towels,
we
a lot
just
about business, marketing, stuff like that, catching up. I was just talking. I mean, I talked to Troy and Mike about a little bit of everything from YouTube to food, our plans. So Mike was telling me that he's engaged, and I was saying that I'm engaged, and we were talking about our plans, and by talking about plans, we didn't talk about our plans, but we just talked about the fact that it's happening.
Yeah,
it's affecting
I'm
us.
sure. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually. But no, it was really cool sitting down with everybody. We talked for a bit. We didn't order any food. We just had drinks, things like that.
I had a brownie with ice cream.
Oh, you had a brownie with ice cream.
Ooh. Yes, you did.
Must have been nice.
That was great.
I didn't see that. So
yeah,
every trip he finds the ice cream.
Yeah.
I asked for a dessert menu, and she came back over.
Oh, very
when
nice.
you guys ordered your second round of beers. I ordered my second
when
round
you
of ice
guys
cream.
were ingesting in that
you had your dessert, I had mine.
It's binary.
Dessert.
You either eat it or you don't.
Yeah, right, as Troy would say. So but no, we finished up that night, and then we went back to the hotel. I think we were all pretty tired. We were all pretty exhausted, and we went to bed.
Yep.
Woke
Anthony and I shared a room.
up. We did.
Dane and your father, you guys shared a room.
Because I'm pretty sure we both have sleep apnea. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure about that as well. Though I haven't shared a room. I
feel like if I was sleeping, somebody at the concert behind me would have been like, "Shut up."
Oh man, yeah. Dane's a bit of a snorer, but
well, you've heard in previous talks. Last when we were back east, Anthony slept in with Dane, shared a room, and
it got me a free room out of it.
And then he changed and was like, "I'm going to sleep in your room, Levi." So. Yeah. So
that happened.
Dane spent the rest of the weekend in his underwear.
Yeah, he did. No, so after that, we woke up the next morning nice and early, and it was crazy because the day one seemed like it was a long day, right? Because remember, we left Boise that day at 4 a.m., but it didn't feel like it. It felt like we had already been there for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
But woke up in the morning, went and grabbed food, coffee. We grabbed breakfast burritos.
We had some Monsters and
we went to that one place.
Oh, we went to
Moe's.
It was like a little bagel shop.
Yeah, you guys got some breakfast burritos. I got a bagel.
Yeah,
and it was good.
Pretty good.
Full of jalapenos.
Yeah, it was.
You guys started your morning with jalapenos, which
mine was pretty toasty.
Strange.
But so we showed up at RUPES, and again, right when we showed up, everybody was back in the classroom. Jason was going over, I believe it was sanding, and then motions of the polishers.
Yeah, arm speed,
and all that.
Arm speed.
So giving those presentations, but sanding was kind of like the big priority for that day, is getting everybody up to speed on the RUPES sanding discs with their little intermediary pads that they have, so people can sand with machines. Because
those guys were jazzed for that.
Well, I mean, because they knew, because Jason, specifically knew that this particular talk was going to, I guess, sink really deep with these guys, because a lot of these guys hate the look of orange peel, hate the sight of nibs and random isolated defects on paint, and a lot of these guys want to go for perfection because remember, it's a obsessed garage. So going over these sanding tutorials was awesome because it showed these guys that you don't have to sit there and do polishing for 5 days with the heaviest cutting compounds to remove this orange peel, right? You can knock that out in one step with sanding and do less damage in the long run. So a lot of these guys, it was really beneficial to them to learn this technique rather than what they were doing prior to that. And so they were all super pumped and jazzed to go out on the test hoods and go play with things.
But also being taught that it's not always good.
Because
there's definitely some
that
downsides.
Was one big thing that Jason said. He said, "Yeah, you can do this, but is this really going to benefit the life of this vehicle?
Yeah.
Is this really the look you're going for? If it is, then by all means do it. This is what you need to do, but it doesn't have to be done."
Yeah.
And telling the difference between, I don't know, they explained with a nice little graph showing that, paint, being all these ridges and whatnot, right?
When peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys, when you're cutting those down, you're not actually removing the visual sight of the peaks and valleys. You're simply just cutting them down. So they're still there. It's just in some cases they don't ever really go away.
Until you run out of paint.
But
But that was cool. It was fun. I learned some things, which I always love doing that when I can pull something out and go like, I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's always fun. And the whole group was rad. And we got up and did like a little 15-minute Q&A with them all.
Good questions, too.
Yeah, guys put out a lot of great questions. We gave them our best answers that we could. We gave away some towels, which was fun. We brought Matt's version 2.0 of his towels,
his kit,
of the kit, so that and we had them laid out on a table so people could touch and feel them. That way they could at least experience them. If they hadn't seen them, we noticed more people like to be able to touch a towel. If you've never felt something before, it's hard to comprehend it just by
it's
photos.
like the RUPES tools, too. If you've never had a chance to use these tools or these towels,
and at the event, you got to try all of them.
Yeah.
So maybe you're an old hand on the 21 or a 15, but you've never tried the minis or the the nano or the pneumatics, and you want to learn about it. That's the time to do it when you got everything in front of you and panels to play with.
And like especially in this group, if you're a very particular kind of person, certain things that on paper sound good, like, oh, I might like that, and then you try it and go, oh, no, that's totally different than what I expected.
Or in the lesson you learn that you're never going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
That's too complicated. So,
and that's why Jason's a wealth of knowledge, because not only can he tell you what you can do to accomplish these things, he can also tell you when not to go.
Yeah.
And pursue those really rabbit hole things that may not be in your best interest.
And I think a lot of guys learned that.
Yeah.
Which was cool. And then we had to get out of there at 3:30. And so we packed up. You finished up the last of your interviews.
Yeah, I was doing interviews the whole time.
Yeah. And then we hopped in the car because we had to catch our flight at 7, or our flight was boarding at 6:50. Our flight was leaving at 7:30.
Yep.
So we had to leave at 3:30. Sorry, I burped there, hiccuped and burped at the same time. So we headed out at 3:30, but by the time we got packed and in the car, it was 3:45.
Yeah.
And then we headed to Auto Wash.
Yeah.
And Auto Wash has 8 locations in Denver. They're car washes, automatic self-serve car washes. But unlike most car wash companies that are they created their own separate detail shop.
Yeah.
And they are running their business, the corporate headquarters for the car wash, and the detail shop and training center and all that stuff is in this new facility that they built. And so they wanted us to come by and check it out. They're a good customer of ours. They carry the towels, our Rag Company towels, in their vending machines. They use them at the car wash. They use them in the detail shop that they were setting up. And Dennis and Aaron Driesen are the owners, and they are just the sweetest people. Great couple, husband and wife. And so we headed over to their shop, and we got to see the 10,000 square feet that facility is. And it is gorgeous. Yeah. They have Swiss Trax flooring in gray, white, orange, and blue.
Not just in a corner or something. It is like the entire
warehouse.
The whole place is done in Swiss Trax flooring.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't even know.
There
were
some commenters who were just looking, going, "Oh my god!" And they're like trying to do the math.
The lighting they were setting up. They're like, "It's not totally done yet." I was like, "This is so nice."
Cool. Yeah. You can look back at the pictures on our Instagram.
Yeah, you can go through the pictures. You can look. I mean, basically. They had only been.
They weren't technically open.
They were not technically open.
They were still in training.
But they were in training. But that I guess that actual building, they had only been in there for a month, right? And they had made so much.
It's a lot of headway.
A lot of headway. I mean, on what they've done with not just the flooring, like you said, the lighting. They put in a little wash bay. All their detail carts are completely outfitted with some of the best products out there. They have a lot of the P&S line. They have all of our towels. They have brushes. They have our detail factory brushes, which was really cool too. Seeing that they had all RUPES polishers, RUPES pads. They had, really just a great lineup of everything.
They had California Air Tools, air compressors. They had steamers, Phoenix steamers on each station. They had vacuums mounted on every station. They literally had every station set up.
Well, and not only all that, but they were also getting their training from...
they were getting Prentice St. Clair from the IDA. He was there. And Prentice has... he's been a detailer for a very long time, but he is the guy that has really been before the internet came out. Prentice was the one that was writing all the technical articles, and you could find them in the auto laundry magazines. And so for the first 10 years of my detailing career, Prentice's articles was the only thing I had to the outside world of detailing.
He was your resource.
He was the one that I would read and go, wow, this guy's got some great ideas. And he's really good at, he knows car washes very well, and he knows detail shops, and he knows the symbiotic relationship between those two. And you guys can poo-poo car washes and all how they damage cars. And for the longest time, though, the key is you have a car wash that does damage to cars, but it gives people that cleanliness, that shininess, and that convenience. And then you have the detail shop there to fix and create a value-added services for your customers. Because everybody always wants to get a coat of wax put on, or they want to get their carpets shampooed, or they want to get
it's a no-brainer.
Stain taken out.
Yeah.
So that's how, I mean, that's really how it used to be. Nowadays, car washes are going away from detailing services, and they're going towards just that monthly subscription, because it's easier for people to just pay them $20 and then forget about it, and pay them $20 a month, whether they use their car wash or not.
And it's less overhead for them.
It's less overhead for them. They don't have. They can literally just run a car through and wash it for $20. And realistically, they're not expecting a customer to wash their car every. They're not expecting 20 washes or 30 washes.
Some people don't even know what a detail is.
They're expecting them to come in once a week.
Yeah.
You know, and so for car washes, it's a huge moneymaker. But what they don't realize is that detail shop and those detail services are extremely handy to have in. And that's one of the neat things that Aaron and Dennis are, is they're a young couple. They're new to the car wash industry, and they are hungry for knowledge and training. And so they are taking that next step.
They dove right in. Yeah.
And they are really focusing, and they've grown the shop to where, or built the shop so there they can have added growth. There was 8 guys there working in maybe 6 bays. 6 sets. There was about six bays they could work in.
Yeah.
And then they had a section that they want to be able to do PPF and coatings in. And
you could tell they had kind of a team spirit
they've got
already.
Yeah,
too.
and those guys seemed pretty excited.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. They're talking about doing coatings and PPF within the next year at least, just because, you know, they're training new guys.
Yeah.
But the guys already went to RUPES and did a training.
Nice.
And had a lot of fun with that. Prentice was there to teach them all a standard operating procedure, and then on top of that, he was going to IDA certify everybody. The company is getting its IDA certification.
Excellent.
The detailers were all going to get their CDs, so that they can be on task. They are committed. Aaron and Dennis are committed to the IDA and education, and so they want to do webinars. They want to host trainings and events.
It's like going to a shop with ASE certified mechanics.
Yep. Yeah. So those of you in Colorado, you might want to check them out. It's going to be a neat setup for them, and I see big things in the next 5 years for them. It's going to be a rough start, but I think but the place is gorgeous, and they've got all the tools to help them. It's just going to be the quality of employees at this point that are going to.
They've got a good sense of direction about what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was cool.
They got our towels in their vending
well,
machines. That's pretty cool.
We spent a very fast hour there.
Yeah.
How about you guys? That went by so fast that we were like, crap.
Oh,
we are late.
By the way, they detailed dogs too.
Oh, and they
just
also
a fun little
thing.
thing.
Car wash.
The car. I was like,
At
wait,
car
dogs
washes
too?
Yeah, they have little
sense.
dog washes in the car wash, so you can take your dog in and wash the dog too. So, but we had to hustle.
Yeah.
Back to the airport. So it was another half-hour drive to the airport.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was 5:15 when we left, and we were like, crap, let's go. Yeah. So we're like, we still got to get the rental car back. That gives us an hour to get through security. Like, oh my gosh. So we'll get in at 5:45 at the rental car drop-off.
Yeah.
And we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we ran to the bus, and we sat on the bus for like 15 minutes. I think right at 6 o'clock. The guys shut the doors and started driving, and we were like,
Took a hot minute.
Yeah, so we got to the airport, and what did we do? You guys
we split off because you guys had clear,
yeah.
And we only had TSA pre, so we didn't have a bag to check, and Jeff had a bag to check. So me and Dane jumped off, ran down, got through pre-check, which pre-check, honestly, at that particular time was taking just as long as the normal.
There was a very upset woman over there, too.
Oh, yeah, she'd waited in line for I don't know how long, and then got to the front, and then she's like, hey, you don't have pre-check, and she's just
Your
like,
ticket doesn't say it on
kidding
there.
me? And it was
she got turned back, and she was
It was a big thing. But anyways, me and Dane made it through, jumped on this train, right? Because we're like, we're going to wait for Jeff and Levi. Jumped on the train to take us to our terminal. We get off the train, And then what do we see? We see Jeff and Levi walking in front of us, and we're like, how did you guys get in front of us? And they're like, were you on the same train? And we said, yes, we were on the same train. But somehow, not only were they able to check their bag, but they got through clear fast enough to where we didn't even see them, made it onto the train, and were still ahead of us. So that's just
sounding like a commercial for Clear.
So me and Jeff, you guys went straight to security. Jeff and I went upstairs.
Yeah.
And when we got upstairs, we were in the wrong section.
Oh, no.
So we had to go. We were up in Southwest, and they had built they're doing construction there, so they built this fake wall, and we had to go back outside.
Oh, no.
And down to get to the Delta platform.
Oh, yuck.
So Jeff and I are like, oh, crap, like, where's the Delta? So then we find it. We start running down to the thing. We get in. There's no one in line at the Delta counter, thank God. So Jeff runs up, drops off his bag, gets his boarding pass. I mean, that actually probably took him about 5 minutes. And then we headed down to security.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff's like, oh, man, this is all right. I'm looking at the watch going, man, the poor guys, they're probably already done and through, and they're waiting for us. And Jeff's like, well, let's hope we get there. And then we head down, and I'm like, oh, it's not too bad, but there is no one in Clear. And Jeff and I are like, well, this is pretty awesome. And so we literally walk up. There's nobody in Clear. We go right up to the front of the TSA pre-check line. I'm looking for you guys. I don't see you anywhere.
Oh, no.
I'm like, where are they? I don't see them. And Jeff's like, yeah, that's weird. And so
You're probably still somewhere back in the line.
Yeah, I was looking, but we go through pre-check, and we made it through. They did stop and ask me when the case was going through. They're like, what's that thing with 2 handles and a bar across it? And I was like, it's just
it's a mini shoulder rig stabilizer.
I just said I called her. Yeah, I
Jesus,
said
no.
I told her, I was like, it's a stabilizer rig, and she goes, for what? I said, a camera. She goes, what's it called? And I was like, I don't know, a gimbal. And she's like, huh, you learn something new every day. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. And then the lady next to me, she's like, oh, good, I'm glad they stopped your bag. That means they won't stop mine.
Oh, God.
So they send my bag out.
Said that.
Yeah, they send my bag out, both my bags, and then they stop hers. And they're like, the alarms go off, and they're like, man, we need to check your bag. She's like, oh, man. I was like, what'd you have in there that would stop it? She's like, a breast pump? Like, yeah, that could probably do it. And so I got through, Jeff got through, and we made our way, and we hustled down the thing and caught the train.
We must have been on the same train.
We were on the same train.
Yeah.
So we came down the escalator. I think we were on different ends of security is why. So you guys were on one side, I was on the other, and we went through and then got on the thing to go down onto the train.
So when you were going through Clear, we were probably just finishing up our end
Probably.
of things to get there at the same time.
People are like, all right, I get it. You guys are on the same train.
But anyway, so
move on.
Yeah, sorry, guys. So anyway, what it was Clear saved us, I don't know, 15 minutes?
That's the real lesson here.
At least 15 minutes?
Now, real quick, just so we're doing the mental math here. So with pre-check...
I'm going to lose my mind. I can't talk about this anymore.
Pre-check, $90, 5 years?
I don't know. I don't even...
It's $100 for 5 years if you're a Delta Sky Miles
and
member.
Clear is $100 for 1 year.
No, pre-check is $90 for 5 years.
Right.
And then if you're a Delta Sky Miles member, Clear is $100 per year.
Okay. I just wanted to lay that out.
If you're not a member of any airline or you're not a member of Delta Sky Miles, sign up. It's free, but it's $150 a year.
Okay. It's just we spent this much time talking about it. I want to make
so
sure.
it's clearme.com. It
Anthony?
basically biometrics, scan your fingerprints, and they take you right to the front of the TSA line, which is pretty sweet.
All right, thank God. Okay,
so
then we go. So what
we
do we
got
do?
some food.
We got some food. Nothing special. We went on, jumped on this plane. All right. Also, nothing super special. It was a decent flight.
But again,
out
business
of there.
class, Delta,
Yeah,
easy.
I guess the worst part about that is we're flying up in the air, and there's some demon clouds up at the top of the sky.
I got good footage.
We were
of those.
flying into what
Denver.
seemed like the freaking apocalypse. And Dane's like, wow, Anthony, look outside this window. And I'm like, Dane, I would prefer if you closed that window because every time I look out of there.
Cool. This is great footage.
No,
and I'm like,
dude, it was not. It was not. When you were looking out there, I swear I felt like it was like something out of like some, I don't know, like like hell. I don't know. It looked so
For
horrible.
those watching on YouTube on the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel, I'm going to have Tim drop in some footage that I took on the plane out the window, and you can see these clouds he's talking about. I thought it looked really cool, but maybe
it looked really cool. But
Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse were going to come riding out of these clouds.
That was a very bumpy flight.
Yeah, I was not a happy camper about that.
Thanks,
so. Yeah, and then because they even warned us. They were like, "All right, so just letting you guys know, we're not going to be going through the cabin because we're going to be going through some severe turbulence." And I'm sitting there like,
he's already a nervous flyer,
well, that's
but have
fine.
them tell him that.
And I look over to Dane and Levi. I'm like, is there any way we can avoid that severe turbulence? Are they bringing us, are they making it sound worse than what it is? And no, it was still crappy. It was not fun.
It's out of our hands.
And me looking physically outside, and Dane's looking out the window, and he's like, yeah, see those clouds, Anthony? Those were some of the most brutal thunderstorms happen. And I'm like, cool.
I was just saying, I was like, that's a thunderhead cloud. It's shaped like an anvil, blah, blah, blah. It's a cool thing.
No.
I used to play Flight Simulator a lot as a kid.
I don't want to know that. Anyway, we finally got out of that stuff. We landed in Salt Lake City. We were there for just probably 40 minutes. We went and grabbed snacks, drinks.
You filmed some ladies sleeping on the floor.
That
sounds questionable.
It was. Well, she was questionably alive. Nobody. So
okay.
What? Anyway, so we did that. Jumped on the flight home.
That was a nice plane. That was a big plane again.
Another one of those planes that we had the screen on the back of the thing.
So we could watch our movies.
So I watched...
Not the same one.
What'd you watch? Oh,
I watched Blockers. I watched Blockers.
I watched Sherlock Gnomes.
And Dane, what did you watch?
Pacific
HGTV?
Rim.
Oh, Pacific Rim.
I watched HGTV on the way there.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So we all watched different movies, but it was entertaining. We landed home safely. Everybody, we got the plane.
Katie picked you up.
Katie picked me up.
Liz picked you up. And then I rode home with the Hennens. They dropped me off at my house.
How nice of them.
So that was cool of them. Thanks, Jeff and Carolyn, I got to ride with Cooper.
Nice.
Aww.
Yeah, he was in the car too. He was barking the whole time.
Shop dog.
He's like, "Hey, Levi, how was your trip? Tell me all about it."
Yeah, that's literally what he was doing. I had to tell myself that's what he was saying. He was barking at my face.
Yeah. So we got home safe Friday night. Basically,
it was perfect. It was a good, easy trip because it was a Thursday morning gone. But back home Friday night, but it was a weird...
felt longer.
That was the thing. You went from beginning to end with these. So
my wife
left
said
the earliest possible point, and you got home at the latest possible point.
And my wife said that my cat probably slept, was awake and then went to sleep when I left, and then kind of woke up when I got home. Because she's like, I honestly think he's been asleep the whole time you've been gone.
Nice.
So... yeah, so it was fast enough that my cat didn't know I was gone. Probably
that's goals right there. So we'll hopefully have some more of those type of trips where it's a 2-day trip. I don't know.
That would be fun, but we literally don't have anything. We do have the rap shop Justin Pate coming to Boise to do an event with us. Yeah. We'll get the details finally squared away, and we'll let you guys know about that. We have a special guest coming to visit us. Yep. And then Ivan LaCroix of Optimum is talking about wanting to come in and visit us as well in September.
Yeah.
And then in October, we've got Rennie, Bob from PNS, and Bob Eichelberg from Flex coming to do an open house on October 12th.
That'll be their first time here.
And they'll be here in Boise for that. So we have people coming. We have three or four groups coming to see us before SEMA.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And then our next trip isn't going to be until SEMA.
Yeah,
at the moment,
a little time.
So
on the ground.
So we're still going to be doing some stuff. So we'll stay abreast to that on the Rag Company Facebook page. We'll be releasing, the events as they come up, and as always, they're free to attend. Come hang out with us and check out, learn all that good stuff. So
there you go.
Cool. All right,
guys. Nothing else to share?
That's it.
All good. All right. Well, we've definitely made a long podcast out
of
it.
So, travel podcast. Boom.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. As always, you can always find us on shoutengine.com at the Rag Company Podcast. And on YouTube, the new home of the Rag Company Podcast is the Rag Company Podcast YouTube channel.
Yep.
So, anyway, guys, till next time, this is us saying, have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.